We are going to do subscriptions and newsletters today, and if you guys will come up with any other questions in the meantime that you also want me to review, let me know. I realize I need to share my screen, so hold on. Have you guys come up with any questions before I get started on the new stuff, or anything need me to review?
Oh, I actually had a chance as I was telling Matt, I had a chance to do some bulk upload on some ads and stuff. So that, I mean, that's really so similar to what we've already been doing. It was very easy, so that was cool.
Gotcha. Okay. Do newsletter first, and then we'll hop into the subscription stuff. There's a lot. A lot of it's on the documentation as well, though. So newsletters, if you go to newsletter dashboard, it's going to take you to this section, which is kind of an overarching dashboard of all the newsletter items. With subscribers, we actually on WordPress have all the subscribers within the website. You don't need to go to PHP lists if any of you are familiar with that. If I go to search and edit, you're going to see a list of everybody. So if somebody sends a message and says, hey, can you remove so-and-so from the thing, you know, you can come in here and do it for them. It's a much faster system as well. There is, if I click edit here, you can see you have some information. I'm going to show you what test emails are later, but you can set a test subscriber, and that means they would receive a test email. So if you're testing, that's what you have to do to receive the test email. So Terry, you're going to be our tester. If you want to import anybody in the newsletter system, you can copy and paste just a list of emails right into this CSV box, or you can upload a CSV. It's usually easiest just to copy and paste right into the box and say import. When new sites go live, you know, you need to get the list of email subscribers from engineering, from the PHP list. They'll send it to you, you import into here, and then they're in the system.
Is that not done automatically when the other imports are being done, archives and such?
We wait until after the site is actually live. And part of the reason for that is we used to do it prior, and there was an instance, I don't know if anyone remembers it, with Catskill Mountains, where a newsletter went out from their prototype site because they kept delaying, and we'd imported a new edition, and it was a mess and just not worth the chance of that happening again in the future. So we wait until after the site is live to do that.
I'm sorry, could you scroll up just so I can see what this page is again, just to make sure I know where you are?
Okay. Subscribers, import.
Okay, yep. Thank you.
I will show you what lists are as well. If someone's going to be using the automated newsletter at all, you want to create a list, and that would be found under list building, lists, and you just name it whatever you want. That's just if you want to kind of like segregate your list of users into different groups. Maybe somebody wants to send out a sports newsletter or something like that. That's what lists are for as well. If you need to do anything in bulk with subscribers, there is a maintenance screen under subscribers, and that is how you can kind of see your numbers and also add people to lists, remove things. So you can see, like, if we go to lists right here, I can say add everyone to that newsletter list that I've made. I'm going to activate for everyone. Excuse me. So that's how you can kind of do things in bulk in the system if you need to. And then statistics, if anyone ever asks you about, you know, how many subscribers or anything they have, you'd go to statistics and you can see some of those numbers here. Any basic questions about any of that? That's pretty simple stuff, but just want to make sure. You guys are good? Okay. Next, I'm just going to go to, I think it's in this, I always forget where it is. There's some here you can change the opt-in if they want to do a double opt-in, which means you get a confirmation email. So that's kind of up to the client. That would be changed there. If you want to have a subscription page, you can do that, but any page, you can just put a short code that says newsletter with those 2 brackets around it, and it'll pull in that subscription widget that I showed you guys the other day for signing up. So you can literally put that piece of code right there anywhere, and that'll show the sign up form no matter what. Trying to think of, oh, here it is. Okay, yeah, so under list building subscription, if you go to the welcome tab, sometimes clients will ask to update the welcome email, and that's where this is, right here under welcome. So sometimes they want to update this message to be a little different. So that's where you would find that and help them update it. You know, you can add pictures if they want to add their logo or whatever. You just add it from the media library. So, you know, that's how you can customize that if you need to. And then you don't really need to know any of that stuff. So I'm going to go to, before we get to the actual newsletters, I'm just going to show you when a new site goes live, Jeremy sets up something where it goes through Amazon SES, this box right here, and that basically sends the emails out through Amazon to help prevent things getting marked as spam. So just when a new site goes live, he usually does it automatically, but I always double check with him, like, hey, Jeremy, is Amazon set up? So just something to double check with him. And then for some of the templates, they will pull from this company info page that is under settings. So you can come in here and upload their logo. You'll want to put their address, copyright info, anything like that in here. And then if they want to do their social media, you can add URLs to social media in here. Or if they want to do it, you know, you don't obviously have to do it. But if they ask, you know, how do I get my logo in the newsletter, that sort of thing, you can come do it in here. So we have 3 different newsletter types. We have 2 that run through here, and then we have the third one that you guys are probably pretty familiar with, which is the one that goes out when you run your addition action, the one with the logo up top, you know, and the little sections, that sort of thing. So I'm going to go through all 3 of them. The OHT newsletter is a little different. If we go to newsletters, single, this is how you can just manually send out a newsletter of any sort. It doesn't even have to be with articles. It could be like a third-party advertiser. It could be a special promotion for the paper for subscriptions. Merry Christmas. It could be whatever you want it to be. You can see there's a bunch of different options. I'm going to use this default one because that is the easiest to use. And you can see here, I can select, oh, it's not showing my categories, but you select these boxes for posts, thumbnails, excerpts, that sort of thing. I haven't updated the logo, so that's why it says Op Sandbox. That company info section I showed you, if you upload the logo there, it would pull into this header right here. So you select your categories. You can use this tag, and that would be if I go back to articles. And I'm just going to show. So if I'm going to edit this, there's a tag box, as you can see right there in that column. I'm just going to say, come on, quick edit. If I add something that says like newsletter, it can be whatever tag you make. There's not like a set one you need to use. But if I were to use that, and then I would also add that tag right here to newsletter, it would only pull stories that have that tag. So that's how they can choose like more specific stories. For these, you also want to make sure you just mark off articles. So the post type that you're using. We don't use posts, we use articles here. Once you say proceed to edit, it's going to create the actual email that you can then proceed to edit with additional things. So if you wanted to, you can see this is just a table with the articles pulled in. So if I wanted to get rid of this row completely, I could highlight it and where is it? Delete the row and get rid of it. Like this is all just tables and HTML and CSS. Jack actually had to use this yesterday for Florida Weekly. So you can see, you know, once you get here, you can't go back to that first step. You'd have to create a brand new one. I want to make sure you change this message where it says here you can start to write your message. And then up here in this box is the subject line for the email. So you would just type that in there. So yeah, so once you update, that, get it where you want, you can hit send and it would send out if you just hit send off the bat, it would send out to everybody. There's a targeting tab right here where you can choose the lists that you want to send to. So if they're being more specific, you can send to the lists. And if I say test right now, it might send to Terry. Terry, you can check your email in a minute and see if it came through. But yeah, so that's how you just send a basic newsletter. If you go to other, there's also a send on, which is if you wanted to schedule it for a certain time, you could schedule to send out on a day and time right there. And then status will show you, how many people it's sent to. It's not going to send 5,000 emails right away. There's it sends X amount every so often. So it kind of spreads it out so you don't get hit with spam too much as well. I know there's a lot, so yeah. Go ahead.
Jackie, would the test email be in there as recorded as a sent?
No, it wouldn't be under status. Nope.
Okay.
Tests are sent, I believe, sent separately. So.
Okay, got it.
It's like sent through the website, not through the actual system.
Mm-hmm.
So. I don't know if Terry got it yet or not, but yeah, it would be sent to those test users, anyone who's marked as a test.
I don't think it'll send this out to sub you. So I did the same thing.
Oh, really? Let's try again. Test. Good to know.
What was that? It has to have a subject?
That's what, Jack just said.
Yeah, I think so.
What is it? Okay. So you might get it eventually. Do you have any basic questions about setting up a newsletter or just for that single one? I'm going to move on to automated if you don't, just because it's very similar. But just want to make sure if you guys have any questions.
Okay, there's the email.
Okay, so you got the email. So yeah, it's just sending one manual email. Automated.
I'm sorry, before you jump to that, Jackie, sometimes we get requests from customers who have one of their customers say they haven't been receiving a newsletter. Can you show us where we can check to see who's actually gotten something that was sent?
I believe if you go to the actual user and go to edit, you can actually go to newsletters and you can see here that Terry got the newsletter that I sent her. I think history also logs something similar to that, but yeah, you can see if they received this. This is for if you're sending it through this system. I'm not sure if this is recorded for the ones that you guys send out for like extraction clients.
And that was under the subscribers drop down.
Yeah, the individual profile.
Okay.
So, and if you ever can't find it, you can always ask engineering. They can usually check the actual logs to see if it was sent and that sort of thing on the Amazon side. But yeah, I know I see those all the time too. So automated newsletters, like I said, are very similar. What you do is you're going to add a new channel when you're setting these up. And if you go to configure, what these are you kind of set some parameters. And then from there, it's going to send at the day and the time that you tell it to send every week, unless there's no new stories. So, you're going to set this up as the automated channel, whatever you want to call it. Select the list that you're sending to. You do need to use a list. And we're going to send it weekly on Mondays at 1 p.m. You can set your subject line, and they have some, if you click this, it'll take you to the documentation, which tells you about some tags you can use. Usually we just say, like latest newsletter from paper,
And this
paper name.
This is interesting because it's not attached to an addition action. It just kind of goes on its own schedule no matter what.
Correct. These are complete. Yeah, these are completely separate from those addition actions. And some of the papers do use them separately instead of using the built-in newsletter. So max post to extract means up to 10 stories. So if you have 5 stories, it'll send 5. If you have 15, it'll send 10, up to 10. It won't send 10 every time if you don't have 10 to send. Same thing with that tag, like I told you right there, you can tag different stories. Make sure you select articles, your category, and then and then right down here it says generate even if there are no new posts. You usually want to keep that checked to no. Otherwise it'll keep sending out the same stories over and over again. If for some reason that week there were no new stories, it will not by default send the newsletter. It just won't send anything. And I will I'm going to click save real quick. What happens when you send a newsletter is how I like to describe it is the system draws a line in the sand. It says, okay, you sent this at, Monday at 1 p.m. Any stories written before Monday at 1 p.m. are now considered quote unquote old stories. So that if you haven't written a new story within the next week, it's not going to send anything. Anything written after that time, added to the site after that time is considered new. So people, sometimes ask, is it going to send out an old story? It's like, no, it's not going to send it out. Once you send that email, it considers all of those stories old. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. Sometimes I have to go over that a couple times. They don't quite get it. There is a tab right here that'll tell you all the stories that are considered new. So these would be included in the newsletter. Theme options, there's like a mashup and a default. They're pretty similar. You just pick your thumbnail size, pick your banner right here, which is what the logo would be. Once again, you're setting this up. You're setting this up once and it's just going to automatically send every week. So it's not like you have to come in here and set this up every week. You come in, you set it up. Unless you need to change something, it's kind of like set it and it goes. So your logo, your title, there's some color information right here. I do recommend coming here and like playing around with it, testing it out, sending some emails. We're the only ones in the system. They have this header message and this footer message section, and those are basically text boxes above and below the list of stories. So if I write anything in here, that's going to show up above the stories, below your logo. You could add a banner ad. I know like Jewish Advocate and all of them, always have banner ads. You just add a picture to the box. This is obviously too small, so I'm going to change that to full size, center. So you add your picture and you would just link it the same way you guys do with the other newsletters, except this is, a little easier. You don't have to write any code. If you want to do that add rotate tracking like you guys do with those special links, you would just use that link as the picture link right there. And then you hit the apply button to apply the link.
Yeah, can we convince some of the customers to use this instead? But you said this doesn't pull the display ads, which is one of the main.
It does not, correct. Yep. Yep. But I mean, not everyone wants to use display ads. Some of them just kind of do it because they feel like they should. If you can convince them to upsell ads separately in the newsletter, those are really valuable ad spots nowadays, honestly, because more people sometimes check their email than visit the website. So, and then, you have to have the link for unsubscribe down here. So don't ever delete that. That needs to be there. And then show old posts, yes or no. Basically, there'll be a little text at the bottom that says, here's some older posts you may have missed. So back to that line in the sand, those would be stories that are considered quote unquote old. So you can turn that on and off. If you fill any social media links, there is a block of links at the bottom. You can turn it off if they don't like it though. So right up here, you have theme preview and you have newsletter preview. Theme preview is more about the style. So it's showing you kind of how things will look, which is why it doesn't always have all the stories that should be there if you're looking at it. Whereas newsletter preview will show you the actual stories that would be in the actual newsletter. Sometimes people get just a little confused. So that's kind of the difference between those two tabs. Theme preview is style, newsletter is content. And then status, same thing, is going to tell you the last time it's sent and the next time it will send and how many people it's sending to.
Jackie,
So-
can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
In that newsletter preview tab,
Mm-hmm.
is that only for this particular newsletter, or can we go in there and see what the newsletter looked like that was sent for the edition?
Yeah, if you go, so once you send it, there is where are they? Pretty sure there's a list of the things that have been sent that you can look at. I'm just not sure where it is. Give me 1 second. If you don't mind. One
No.
second.
We don't get the newsletters, and sometimes when I'm doing second QC, it's helpful to see whether or not an error was viewed in a newsletter.
Gotcha. Yeah, let me just, I'm checking on a site that I know sends automated newsletters. Okay, so hopefully this works. So here's the channel for automated. She sent 11 of them. You can see there's a button for newsletters right there. If I click that, each newsletter has statistics, view, delete, abort if something started sending and you need to abort it for some reason. There is an abort button. I believe if you click view, it'll show you what the newsletter looked like.
That is very helpful.
So yeah, here you can see there's that older post you may have missed thing at the bottom. So yeah, so like I said, newsletters, that button, and then you can click view and you can see each individual newsletter.
Okay, this is another strange question. If I go in and yeah, I see this and I see what actually was sent to the customers. If I go make corrections, is that going to generate corrections in the newsletter so that when I go back to view it again, the corrections will be there, or will that just maintain what it was originally?
I mean, with the automated, until you send it, it should pull in any updates, I believe.
Okay.
Because it's like automatically pulling that stuff in, you know? So it should pull all those updates in. I just want to see real quick. I was going to show you for this kind of newsletter. Let's see here. If I go edit on this random person, yeah, you can see here's all the newsletters that were sent. It says they were delivered, and then you can see if she opened it or not in her individual profile. So if they're using this newsletter, that's what you can do. Okay, so if you're not using this system, which is nice and pretty easy to use, if they're using the edition action newsletter, those settings are found under OHT settings, which is usually why I stick that right under newsletter when I'm ordering this menu. So under there is that box for newsletter settings. And as some of you guys are already familiar with that from having, no, wrong one, newsletter settings, from having to post the Jewish Advocate ads and all that sort of thing. And it looks very, very similar to the Drupal site, I believe, correct? With their newsletter page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So yeah, you have your checkbox for if you are sending the newsletter with the edition action. You have all the categories. These arrows the right-hand side box is the categories that will be in the newsletter, and then you can move them up or down with the buttons, so you can put those categories in order within the newsletter. That was a big request from the Drupal clients. Headlines, the breaking news that's the broadcast email subject line. Display ads, any styling you want to add, like colors or fonts or anything. I know Florida Weekly has added a lot of stuff. And then you have your top of the newsletter, bottom of the newsletter, side of the bar of the newsletter, and date stuff. So I know you guys are pretty familiar with this section already, but do you have any other questions with that?
Yeah, the one thing is, how do you manually send this type of newsletter?
So I'm not 100% sure on that.
The reason I ask is because like Putnam and a few others, maybe even Southwest Spotlight is one of these, where they want to use the newsletter.
Southwest Spotlight is actually using the automated one.
Okay, but nonetheless, like with where I think specifically Putnam, they still, I don't even know if they have ads, but they were still using. And is there a way to just manually fire off the newsletter, like I was having to do with Wilson, where I was having to check the content before I let the newsletter go out? So is there a button?
I'm pretty sure you have to go to edition action and run it again with the edition date and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and you would just check that off, and you would publish, just, make sure you set. So I think that's how Jeremy always does it whenever it's needed to be resent, is they just rerun the edition action. Okay. You might want to, I can double check with him, but yeah, whenever I've ever had when anyone has ever sent in a newsletter question, I usually, with the edition action stuff, just kind of forward it to them, because I'm not really sure, because I don't work with that a lot. I work more with the other newsletter stuff.
There was just a link on the old Drupal stuff to say just, send it.
Yeah, we have a request in to add a manual send button. I know what you're talking about, and so that request is into engineering. I don't know the timeline on when that'll be done, but that would be very useful. I can agree.
We'll check in with Jeremy for now, though. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's usually what I do. I'm pretty sure you just rerun this, but hopefully they will have that manual send button sometime in the future.
Yeah. Are you there?
Yeah.
Remember when we had to resend a newsletter for some reason? I can't remember what the reason was. And we went into additional actions and just pushed, we kind of republished. We just set the time, 30 minutes ad, and hit publish, and that worked.
Yep, I think that's basically what Jeremy does too. It's just reset the edition action to go again.
Yeah, so yep. I'm pretty sure that's how you resend it, Chris, but yeah, hopefully we can just get a manual send button in the future. Similar to that broadcast one, that would be definitely a useful tool for us and for clients, because some clients do prefer the OHT email. I'm trying to also get them to make that OHT email a template within the newsletter system itself, which would definitely be also kind of preferable, but that's also just in queue.
I hope this wouldn't derail too much, but would it be too obtrusive to go and take a look at the newsletter that Jack built for Florida Weekly? Because I know they had some really specific things about sending out just a category and some stuff just to kind of like announce that big best of. Could we at least just take a quick peek and see what he ended up making for that?
Sure. I think he used manual, correct, Jack?
Yeah.
So this is where you go into this single newsletter and you kind of build what content that the customer requested to go out with this. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, so I'm just going to say view just so we can see the actual newsletter. So here's the newsletter that got sent. And yeah, it looks like you put a special image up top there, Jack, for them.
Yeah, just so it would be more prominent.
Were they happy with this overall?
Yeah, yep, he liked it. And then we did one for all the other Florida Weeklies too.
Yeah, so
is that styling up there, that's already built into their single newsletter template stuff? With the
I had to pull that from the newsletter top box from the OHG newsletter settings page.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, good. See, this is perfect. These are the kind of little details I love to hear. Okay.
Yeah, you can just copy and paste HTML when you actually get into that sort of thing, I believe. Textual. Edit. How'd you view? There we go. View, source code. You can just copy and paste HTML in there if you need to. Like I mentioned yesterday, emails can be hard because you can't run scripts in emails at all. So that's why everything's always HTML and CSS.
Yeah.
People will ask, can I just put my ad code in there? And it's like, usually you cannot unless it is an email platform, an email ad platform. There are some out there that exist that are specifically for running ad network ads in emails, but they I forget how they get around the scripting issue. But yeah, anything involving script is usually just a no with emails, just so you are aware.
But this was nice to see kind of how this turned out as well.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, he built that through that first part, and then I think he removed some of the stories that didn't have pictures and stuff. So you can, once you get to this page, it's basically, an HTML editor, and you can edit as however you like. Gotcha. So, yep. Any other questions there?
No, I just thought it would be nice to see kind of like one of these real world examples.
Yeah, of course. And you can always go look at some of the sites and see how their stuff's set up if you, need to at all. I log into other sites all the time to get a piece of styling code or to see something else, just to pull information. So, okay, yeah, newsletter. Any other questions on those, or do you want me to move on to subscriptions next?
I'm good.
Yep.
Chris?
Very good.
Okay, so subscriptions, we have two kinds of things that go hand in hand with the paywall. I'm going to get off of Florida Weekly. They don't even have a paywall. So subscriptions are run through Memberpress, which is this menu item, and then paywall settings work together with Memberpress, and a bunch of this is in the documentation. One thing to note is that Memberpress can be used with no paywall, as in if someone's just selling print subscriptions online, they're not actually selling, they're not selling online, whatever, there's no actual paywall on the site, they're selling something else. So that's just one thing to note. So with Memberpress, and Jack, you're pretty familiar with this, so hop in if I'm missing anything I should be pointing out. First thing you do is you set up memberships. With anyone who is a transfer from our current clients, engineering will import all of their users and membership types and that sort of thing. Sometimes they're a little messed up and you're going to have to go through and fix them because the names are a little off or there's extra ones. So when they import it, it's not, there's a bunch of stuff there, but it's going to import all of the purchase history, all their usernames and passwords, so they don't have to reset their password or anything. Basically transfers everyone from the old system. Here I have created a test membership. If you're adding anything new, you just say add new, and you go through the steps that I'm going to show you. So you name it, I try to name it very specifically. Is it in county, out of county, any of that stuff? However many membership types they have, you have to create one membership per type. It's not a form the way I know some of the sites are where, you select renewal online, one per account type. Down here, you have the registration options. So I always change this to complete checkout. You do not have to. I'm going to open a brand new one just so you can see the defaults. They have sign up, just sometimes that can be confusing. Right here is the email they get. If they ever want to customize that welcome email, you can edit it right here. I will show you how to add additional fields, but if you have a bunch of different fields, you can turn them on and off per membership right here. An example of that is Lavernia, one of our self-service clients who is actually also Wilson County. She has a free gift checkbox, and that only applies to, I I think, print memberships. Like it doesn't apply to online only. So we had to turn it off for all the online only ones. And customized payment methods. Usually they don't have more than one payment method, but if they did, you could customize which ones they're using per membership if you had to. So you know, here's the first screen. If you go to permissions, you just want to make sure that says everyone. If it says disabled, it's going to not be available. And then price box, you put your title in, so you know. I'm just going to pull up Gulf Breeze News because I like how theirs looks. And just kind of show you what those things correspond to. So subscribe. You can see it for login, and down below here I have online subscription renewal options at the title added to this page. So right here, this 1 week, if I go back to add new membership, that's the title. And then pricing display, I always do custom and just put the price in there because otherwise it puts a bunch of text with it. So that's what this $7 is. So 1 week, $7. They added some other information. This continue to checkout button is what is this first registration button text on the front page. Once you click that, it's going to take you to another page that has where you fill in your name, your address, your payment info, all that stuff. And the button text right here, sign up, that's what is at the bottom of that page, I believe. I'll double check. But yeah, so you fill in the price, fill in the title, and then you don't need to worry about advance. You're not going to do anything that's all you need to do right there.
Is that next page where they enter in their information and stuff? Is that usually a custom form that we have to build too, or is that kind of
No, it's built into the system.
Gotcha. Okay.
Completely pre-built. And then all you need to do right here for membership terms is put in the actual price of whatever it is. So if you ever need to update it, this is where you'd update here, and you'd want to update in the actual price box because that's what displays on the screen. Billing type, usually it's one time, sometimes it's recurring, and recurring is if, you know, it's a monthly charge or something like that. So one time, and then access, you would say expire, and you would expire after whatever the time frame is. So, you know, some people have 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year. So once again, if they have multiple, so say they have online access only and print access, and they have a 6 month, a 1 year, and a 2 year. That is 6 total memberships that you have to create. So one for each time frame and one for each account type. So, you know, 1 year, and you want to say allow renewals, which means they can renew when it expires next year. I'm going to say publish. That's going to save it. Once again, Jack is familiar with these already, which is good.
Jackie, is this where you can set up auto renewals, or is that through the payment gateway?
You can, if you're using Stripe, you would set it to recurring and it'll auto set it up. And yeah, you could set up auto renewals.
Okay.
Most people don't do that though, although we've had a few people ask for it, but yeah, that's what recurring would be for the billing type.
Okay, great.
Do you guys have any questions on just setting up a basic membership?
Nope.
Okay, so that's how you set up just one individual membership. The next step that goes with that is groups. Groups are, I usually group, you can group them any way you want. It's up to you, up to the client if they want to do something. I usually do just across the paper, you know, online only, print and online, and if they have print only. So those are my groups that I tend to use because they make sense. So you create.
And these are kind of related to the membership types. It's like the print or online, just not with the time frame in there, right?
Well, yeah. So I'll usually take all the online onlys, and once we go into the group, you'll see that this is where you add the membership types that are part of the group. So if you have 3 online onlys, you'd add them all right here. And this is where you can choose the style. I usually choose clean because it looks nice. But there are a bunch of other styles in this drop down right here that you can play around with and check out. Clean is, in my opinion, the best looking one. And then right here where it says group price short box codes, you can actually, you want to pick this short code at the bottom, and that is going to be what you use on the subscribe page. So I'm going to just add a new page.
So that's how you built that nice one for the Gulf Breeze one.
Yep. I used the page builder, and I added a 50-50 row. And then for the rest of them, I just did a single row and add widget. I'm going to just use the text widget. And then, yeah, right there, I'm going to, you know, online only subscriptions. And I'm going to put that short code right there. And it's going to pull all the subscriptions that are part of that group into the page.
Cool.
Once it publishes. So yeah, if you ever need to see how something is done, I would just go to one of the subscribe pages on the site like this one and just look at the page content, and you'll see, you know, all the things that are used there. So where's my page? Page. So this one doesn't have any styling on it for some reason. But yeah, you can see if I say continue to checkout, it's going to take me to a page with this is the form that they give you by default. So, and then you just complete checkout. And once you have your payment gateway, it would add the credit card information right here because we don't have any set up. There's no credit card information fields, but it would all just be on this one page.
Cool. Gotcha.
So yeah, so that's all you don't need to, yeah, you don't need to build those. I think I would go nuts if that was the case. But yeah, so that's all you need to do to get those on. So usually, yeah, like I said, there's usually about 2 to 3 groups. Okay, so you build your membership types, you build your groups, you build your subscribe page. What you do to get started there with the setting up the paywall, you want to go to paywall settings, and this is kind of, this is something we've coded. And right here, you can see there's date restrictions. So I know some papers, you know, anything older than 7 days is free. Anything newer than 7 days is free. People have different time restrictions that they sometimes use, you know. So if you had anything like that, you would.
So like if there was a natural disaster or something and they wanted just to make everything free for their community, this is kind of where you go set that up.
Yeah, you could for like the day. I mean, if they were making like the whole, actually, no, you would not do that here.
Okay.
Sorry, someone asked me a question. So by default, you know, normally it's going to be restrict all articles. If they have no paywall, you're going to say restrict no articles. This is the first step to setting the paywall up. So what this piece does right here is it adds that tag I showed you on articles, that paywall tag. If I say restrict all articles and save it, it would add that paywall tag to every article. So that's all this section does. It adds that tag. So you can set this part up at any time. This free categories section right here, anything that's selected doesn't get the tag. So, you know, special sections are usually free. So you want to make sure special sections is checked off. Galleries might be free, so make sure that's selected. And this is something that if you change it, it's going to rerun and remove the tag from those sections. So yeah, this whole section, all it does is add that paywall tag to anything that you tell it to from here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so once you've done that with the paywall tag, to make the paywall actually be on, you go to rules. Under rules, you can see this says all content with paywall. And what that means is that paywall box is what it's referencing in this paywall section. And then paywall right here is the tag. When you start typing it in, it's going to pop up and you want to select it from that pop-up. So paywall. And then down below, you want to select all the memberships that apply to that specific role. If they have a paywall and it's on e-edition and articles and it applies to everything, you can just set it up once here. If they have separate subscriptions for e-edition versus articles on site, which some people do, or they do e-edition only, you know, that's the only thing the paywall actually applies to. You'd want to make sure you select, you guys can't see my drop down, unfortunately, but this drop down has like every content type in the system. So there's one called articles with paywall. So you could select, you know, you could match different rules to different subscriptions. So, you know, if they have an e-edition only one, you would say all PDFs tagged with paywall. And then you would choose the membership types that were e-edition only. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so it's just matching. Normally it's not that complicated, really, but some people do ask for very like specific things. You know, they want to sell e-editions separately and then they want to sell something else separately. But usually you're not going to run into that. Usually it's just going to be all content with paywall. Coupons you can set up if you want to have coupon fields. That's pretty straightforward. You know, discount of a percentage or a specific amount. You just set that up, whatever they want the code to be, whatever memberships it should apply to. Reminders are email reminders when people are expiring. So you can set up as many of those as you want. Add new, you know, it can be 1 day, 1 week before. You can set up multiple ones. And then right here, you can edit the email that they're going to receive. So if they want to add pictures or change it at all to be more custom, you can update that email that the subscriber would receive when they're about to expire. Do you have any questions about the expiration reminder email stuff?
No.
And then, were you saying something or no?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. No problem. Members is going to be a list of all members in the system, whether they have a subscription or not. You can search through here. You search by field. So if you're looking for email, make sure to set it to email. You can search by membership type, and you can search via active, expired, inactive. All this stuff's right there to filter.
Would this include people who just like signed up for the newsletter and stuff? I mean, when you said it has everybody, whether they have subscription.
Well, so I don't think it wouldn't be newsletter. It would be anyone who's a user on the website. So like we're in it, even though we don't have subscriptions. You know what I mean?
Or if someone's subscription has expired or something.
Yeah, they would still be in here. It's going to be everybody. Okay. You can see when they last logged in, see how many times they've logged in, when they registered, and then expiration date right here is going to be their most recent expiration date. So it's not going to be like every expiration date they've ever had. It's just going to be their upcoming expiration. If they have any transactions, there's going to be a link right here to take you to their transactions. So Terry, we're going to add a transaction. Actually, Matt, we're going to add you into the system as a member. If you need to manually add a user, you would come to members if they're brand new to the system. If they've never bought anything before, they're not already in the system, you would add them via this members tab. If they are already in the system, you would use transactions, but we're going to go through members first. So members.
This would apply to like a new staff member at a paper or something who needs to be added?
This is new transaction for a subscriber.
Okay.
I thought I went over adding a new user. You'd add anybody who's a site user to users. Anyone who's like a back end.
Okay, gotcha.
Because they'd be that editor level or that author level, anything like that. So yeah, that's where they would be added through. Okay, so this is for only subscribers. You want to add all your subscribers through members. So I'm going to say add new. We're going to give them a username. I usually just use the email. That is easiest. Add their email. You can add their name if you need to. If you want to send them a password, you can say show password and copy what's in here. If they want to change it to something else, you can also just like change it to something in there. We don't need that this case. You're going to select the membership type that they're purchasing. And this is like maybe they paid by check, maybe they paid in person, whatever. Keep these things checked for sending them welcome emails. And then this advanced button right here is how you're going to set their expiration date. So status is complete, payment is manual because they've already paid. If you want to set an amount right here for how much they paid, you can. And then expiration right here, you can see it's a year from now. So, and then you say create. It adds them in the system. It sends them a welcome email, and it creates a transaction. Right here, you can see it says transaction 1 complete. So when we copy everyone over, it's going to have all their transactions already copied over. And that's all you need to do to add somebody new into the system as a subscriber. If anyone ever calls up and says they need to add somebody and you need to walk them through it for some reason. If I click on this link that says 1 complete, it actually takes me to a list of all of his transactions. And this is what the transaction tab right here is. So you can see it has an ID number, status. If they tried to pay and it was rejected, it would say failed instead of complete. Membership type, cost, email, how they paid, when they expire, you know, all that important information is right here. So if somebody is already in the system and you need to add a new transaction for them, you would come to transactions. You'd say add new. And you would start typing in their username or email. It's going to pop up. We also have Terry here. We'll add a transaction for you, Terry. Once again, you're just going to select their membership type, how much they paid, status. You want to make sure it says complete. That means they'll have access. Manual gateway, and then expiration date once again. And then you just say create. And that's all you need to do to create a new purchase in the system for somebody who purchased not online. Do you have any? It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Do you have any questions about any of that?
If a customer purchases online using a credit card or whatever, all this is going to be taken care of, right? This is
correct. All of this is done automatically. It would be recorded under the same section. But yeah, when you add new, that's only if they like something went wrong or they came into the office, they sent in a check and somebody needs to add them in and they don't know how. Or to give them access to the site, you know, they're giving them a free week. So you're just going to add them in and, you know, set an expiration for a week from now or something like that. So yeah, so that's how you add a transaction and that's how you add a new subscriber. Both of those make sense? Any confusion? Anything you want me to go over again?
No, that's good.
Okay. Options is where a ton of options are for the account. When you first set stuff up, these pages right here aren't set, so you want to just hit update options and it's going to create them. So like this account page, if I hit view, it's going to take me to my account page, which you can see it looks like this. It has subscriptions, payments, so they can, you know, find their transaction history, that sort of thing within here. On the home section, this is how they would update their email, telephone, that sort of thing.
This is the same thing. This is what's referred to in that button in the top right, my account. This is the same.
Yes.
The same thought.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Correct. So just make sure that link, you know, make sure you create that page and add that link for their account. If they want to change the payment, the paywall message, this default unauthorized message right here, if you click that, it's going to open up. Usually it says like you're not authorized to view this content, so you want to update it to something a little nicer. I usually say like please log in below or click here to subscribe and link to the actual subscribe page. You know, it can be whatever you want it to be. So yeah, that is where you would change that message. So it can be whatever the heck they want it to be. You can add pictures, you can, you know, add more content. I know that question comes in fairly often, at least I've seen it quite a few times. If you want to show an excerpt, which most people do, you check off this show an excerpt, and you want to use custom and just pick a number of characters. 250 is usually a good number of text characters on that page. If you go over to account, it just has the password requirements. I usually make sure force WordPress to use the Memberpress login is checked, so I would check that off. And that all these things are kind of preset anyway. Fields is where you would add additional fields on that sign up page. So I usually add telephone, but sometimes, you know, they want to have something if it's a renewal or a new subscription, or I mean, those are the two biggest ones. So, but you would just add a new field, and there's a different type options. So if it's a checkbox or radio buttons or something. And then you just want to make sure to say show at sign up if you want it to be on that sign up page. So you can kind of see those different options right there. Any questions there?
No, good.
Payments, in the documentation, there is information on how to set up the different payment methods, because each of them are a little different, but you would click the little plus button, select the payment method you are using, and then follow the instructions in the documentation. Don't set up the actual payment stuff until you can preset some of it before the site goes live, but most of them have a URL, or like this one right here where it says webhook URL, that needs to be placed in the payment gateways settings, like when you log into a payment gateway. And this URL is going to change after the site goes live. So you can preset everything else, but when the site goes live, that's when you want to send them this URL.
So on that question I had from Brunswick, if they do choose to use PayPal or whatever, this is kind of where she will enter and find that information to link whatever PayPal stuff she has set up. This is
so there's PayPal, email, and then there's these two URLs that PayPal requires. You can see it's a completely different form. They all require something different.
Gotcha.
Same thing. These URLs are going to change after the site goes live, so you need to wait until after it's live, and once engineering puts the security certificate up, then you can send them the URLs to implement. Make sense?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
No problem. Emails. These are emails that get sent to the customer, and once again, you can edit all of them. So everything's very customizable. I'm sure you guys have noticed a theme. If you don't want to send any of them, you can uncheck them, like if they don't want to send a welcome email. And then with admin and email notices, this goes to the admin, like when somebody signs up or whatever. So this would be like an internal, like the circulation person at the paper. Whereas this email up here is who it is coming from when it gets sent to the client. So that's where all the subscription emails are coming from, is this tab, emails. So if anyone has a question or wants to update an email or anything like that, you would come here and update that stuff. Marketing, nothing to do there. Business, you just add in their address and business name right here. General, you're not going to change anything here unless they're in a different country and you need to, change any of that stuff. And then taxes, normally that's not, they incorporate that into their pricing by default usually. So that's all the options. Like I said, that's a lot of, excuse me, a lot of the setup. Hold on. Okay. If someone wants to do a metered paywall, go to metered paywall, you can see you just set the number of days for how long the cookie lasts, and then the number of articles right there. This little piece.
Can you explain more about what that is? I'm not really sure that terminology.
Get 5 free articles for every 30 days.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So that's what a metered paywall is. Yeah, somebody asks about that. This little notice up here that says .articles, you just want to copy that code. Cash exempt list is found under performance. I believe it's page cache. Once again, you might, if you ever have a question, you can ask engineering, because I always forget I have to ask them again. Yeah, you'd find that under pages, cache exception list, and you would just add that little piece of code right there and say save. And that's just to make the metered stuff count correctly. Otherwise, it doesn't work right. So, I'm just going to go back to articles real quick. So, let's see here. So, yeah, if posts, filter. So, I'm going to go back to one of these. Okay, so yeah, the paywall, when I turned it on and it tagged everything, you can see it did tag it because right here this says test membership. This access column tells you what memberships have access to this particular story. So that's how you know it's on. So if I go to edit this, you're going to see, is it paywall? Is it content protected? And it says yes. If I were to say no for this one, this is the breakfast one, I'm going to say update. That's turning the paywall off. I'll go to the front page. Breakfast. Where's my breakfast story? So yeah, now you can see there's this little free access tag that's showing, and that is because I turned the paywall off when there was a paywall on that category. So that is a little tag that will show on stories that were behind the paywall that you chose to make free. Just trying to think if you guys, with the Memberpress, there's a report section so people can kind of see their overall numbers, that sort of thing. So if they're looking for numbers, you can export that stuff as a CSV.
Hey, Jackie, could you show how to do a bulk import of users or members?
I'm going to refer to the Memberpress documentation in that case, Matt, because there's a bunch of stuff there.
Yeah,
that's what I use when I do it.
Right.
So.
Okay, I looked at it a little bit, and it looked like you need to enable an add-on to import.
There is an add-on, that's correct. Yeah, so I will do that. There's a plugin for importing.
Yeah, it was just weird because I looked at another site like I think it was West River Eagle that you had already bulk imported for, and I tried to add the add-on, but it wasn't available to add for that one. Okay.
West River Eagle would have been imported by engineering from the old site, so that would have been different.
Okay, so it's one process when we're doing WordPress conversions. They'll do it in that case. And if it's a new customer, then we do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. If it's a new customer, we'll do it. And like I said, I always just go to this section and follow what they say for importing people.
Okay. Yeah, I just got hung up on the add-on, so no problem. I'll follow.
Yeah, you turn on I think there's two. Okay, so you know what it is? There's two different ones. And one is, where is it? There's Memberpress importer, which is the actual Memberpress importer. And then there is, where is it? There's another one called like OHT something or other.
Okay.
I don't know. There's one that Jeremy uses that he turns on. I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head.
Okay.
But yeah, you would use the Memberpress importer and it would show up Memberpress import as an option right here. And you would import your users. I'm going to just pull up their site again and you can see required columns are username and email. So you have to have an email for them. These are all the additional things you can use, and you just need to make sure the column names match and match whatever formatting they tell you to use. Usually it's not too specific.
No.
So first you import your, But go ahead.
Well, what about if they don't have an email? Because I've talked to some publishers that don't have email for print subscribers, and they want to give them free access to the site or a discounted access.
I mean, you can use fake emails. The thing I usually do is set up a form where they can request access, because that's how you give them a login. You need to have how do you send them their password if you can't email it to them? You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Okay, so they would just they'd have their print subscriber list. We'd import it. It wouldn't import anyone with an email, and then there would just be instructions on the site to go to a form.
Yeah, I would say, like, if you are a current subscriber and want online access, please email us via this form or something like that.
Got it. Okay.
It's usually my recommendation, just because A, you're not going to get that many people. It's not like you're going to have 1,000 people fill it out the
Right.
same day.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
But yeah, that's definitely the best way to go about it, because if you're putting fake stuff in, eventually you're going to have to go update it, and it's just a pain. It's easier if you can just email them all their information.
Right. And then
If
that
somebody
email,
doesn't have an
that email would go, and then they would manually add them as you just showed.
Yeah, they'd get that welcome email with all their info and stuff.
Okay.
When you add them into the system.
Right.
But yeah, that's usually my overall recommendation.
Okay.
It's just so much work doing anything other than that on our part. So
Right.
I have one kind of related question. If someone uses an email to sign up, is their account specifically tied to that email, or can they update their email address, or can we do that for them, that kind of thing? Is it?
you can update the email in that account page. They can update the email. You can update the email on their user profile if you had to. So you would go to.
But they're not locked in like with Twitter or some of these things where your account.
Their username is permanent. You can't change the username, but you can change the email. So if I go to your account right here, you can see username is locked.
Gotcha.
But I can change your email down here.
Okay.
And if they need to change anything else, you can see we have all those other things are there. You can resend the welcome email. You can see their subscriptions, transactions. Yeah, so you would just come into their user profile and update their email if somebody called in to update that. But they could, if they went to their account page, they can update their address, they can update their email, they can update all that stuff on there. See if I go to pages, let's find accounts, view. Yeah, so right here you can see I can update my email right there. So. Back to the importing. So yeah, all you need is a username and email to import a user. And then to import transactions, there is a second uploading the file. Where is it? And they have a sample file download here that's on the documentation on our site too, where you can just download it and like fill in those fields. You can see all the formatting stuff. And then you just upload into the system right here. You'd say users and you'd upload. Never check this piece because it's going to send them like a WordPress email, and that's not what you want them to get. Did they?
Do they get anything? It's just saying that you'll have to log in again, because won't they have to log in to the site, the new site?
So if you are if you're importing their passwords, you don't need to if the person has that available. So yeah, here's the other section I was looking for, is migrating or importing one-time payment subscriptions. Once again, yeah, I've copied all of this information over to our documentation as well, because that's obviously important. So once again, here's the required columns that you have, which is username, email, product ID, and then optional columns. There is one that is, where is it? Send welcome right here. And you would want to set that to a 1. 1 is true, and it would resend that welcome email that gets sent out through the system. So if you're importing these for the first time, you can customize that welcome email and then change it back to something more generic after you send out that first one when you're importing people. And then once again, all of this is done right after the site goes live, because if you send it before the site goes live, it's coming from, you know, the prototype URL, and you don't really want that.
Right.
So when you're planning things, you know, the site goes live and then you get all this sort of stuff done. So you want to prep it in like a spreadsheet and just be ready to import it once the site is live.
Right. Do you have a column for like expiration date that they can give us?
Yep, there's a column right here that says expires at.
Okay. All right.
And you would just, yeah.
If
I
you-
always do everything in Google Docs
Mhm.
because they have good formatting. It's just an easy system to use for this stuff.
And if they don't have an expiration date, what would it do? Just like create a subscription with no expiration
Yeah, I
date?
guess it would just have no expiration date. Yep.
Okay.
I mean, most systems are most people are gonna give you an expiration date. They have that when they're
Sure.
exporting that data from the system.
Right.
I haven't really run into that, at least not yet, really.
Okay.
But yeah, send welcome, expires at, and those are usually the two ones that I use from this list outside of matching it up here. And then for amount and total, I usually just do 0, 0 for importing, and that's what I recommend you guys do. And then, yeah, you would come back to import, and you would just import transactions. So you want to make sure you do users first and then transactions. Any questions there? I'm sure, you know, Jeremy and Tim will be able to help out with that the first couple times around as well. Jeremy is well versed in Memberpress because he's had to code a lot of the custom integrations for everything. So. Anybody else questions?
No, I'm all set.
Jerry, Chris?
It's a lot to
Yeah,
take
no,
in.
no, I think I would double check with anybody before I attempted any of this. It's good to know kind of how it works, but I would double check with anybody before I try to do
Yeah,
it.
and if you wanted to do, you could just like create one or two things of fake data with this and attempt importing it on the Sandbox site. You know, that's definitely what it's
Okay,
for.
yeah.
You just fill in the required columns with data and test it out. So you could definitely do that because it's not going to go to anyone. So
How do we get to the Sandbox site?
it is at, you would just go to, I'm going to send it in the go to box. That's the URL. No, it's not the whole URL, but let's go back to the home page. There we go. My Chrome is being weird. Yeah, you just go there and there's a login button up top and you would log in with that login info you have now.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, no, feel free to come in here and like try creating memberships, create groups, create pages, and put that stuff on there. Like I said, if you go to dashboard, to our documentation, there's a whole, where is it, section for payment gateways. Here's all that payment gateway stuff. With some documentation, and then there's a whole Memberpress section where I've copied over a lot of their documentation and have added some additional stuff. So you can see all of that is here for you guys to look at and use. Here's the importing users, importing transactions, email parameters. So all of that stuff is here. Same with newsletters. There's some newsletter stuff in there as well for like tags and subscriber management, that sort of thing. Is there anything else you want me to go over, Matt? I can't think of. I know we've gone over a ton of stuff in the past couple days.
No, I think that's pretty good. I just wanted to go over that Memberpress thing for main to.
Yeah, no, thanks for bringing the import stuff up. I forgot about that.
Yeah, no
so.
problem. I just started trying it myself, and I didn't really get very far. But yeah, I think we're pretty solid. Did we pretty much hit every widget at least?
I think I hit
Wanna
all the
demo it?
important ones.
Mhm. Okay.
Just trying to, because I know there's a lot in there and we don't use like 50% of them. I've recommended to engineering to remove a bunch of them, but that's not really on their priority list.
Right.
So,
Right. No.
Jackie and Matt, I do have a question.
Sure.
Sure.
When we go to add things like adding plugins or adding widgets,
Mhm.
is there a cost involved or is that just built in?
Yeah, that's a good question, and definitely you should always be creating incidents, and then it's not really necessary for you to make the call on those. Just write it up in the incident what you did, and then Pat will basically make the call. But most cases we're going to be charging for that. Yeah.
So, well, I guess my question is, should we ask the customer first?
Right. Yes. So I want to actually show you. I've got another canned email for that. It's basically a way to get approval in a really quick way. So yeah, I'll talk to you about that after the call.
Okay.
Well, I guess I have a related question is what types of plugin functionality would fall under that category? Like not like a poll or adding a weather widget or something, right? Something bigger than that.
Right. Basically, when you need engineering to get involved, even if it's just to turn on something, if they need to do it, then we want to do that custom development quote. Otherwise, if it's something that you guys can do in a couple minutes, then just creating an incident for it, I think is fine. Does that make sense? But no, Jackie, I think this has been very thorough. As far as I've seen, I think we're good here. We'll kind of edit this down, and I'll put it up on YouTube for you guys to refer to. And then, we've kind of been writing up an outline as we go through, so we have something written and kind of have a guide for setting up and the training, really like a script for the training sessions. So.
And I'll be spending most of tomorrow trying to get more additional documentation added to the OHT website for you. So
great. The one that you sent was very helpful. If you could keep doing that, that'd be great. I'd like to have things sitting in front of me that I can refer back to.
Yeah, worst case scenario, if there isn't something there, if you go to the plugin section for whatever the plugin is that you're looking to do something on, most of them have a link to their documentation right there. Or if you click view details, it'll take you to the plugin page, and then sometimes they have a link to their website. Like plugin homepage is usually where you want to go. Usually it's their own website, depending on the plugin. But like worst case scenario, they all have their own documentation. We obviously don't want to link directly to that to clients, just because we don't want them like, oh, I'll just go make my own website and use all the same plugins. So that's why we don't link directly to most of them. But for you guys, obviously you can go and find that stuff if you need to, if you can't find what you need.
There's a lot more documentation on here than I even thought of. I mean, that'll be very helpful. Well, I feel more confident.
Yep, I've tried to add stuff in as I go. I know it's not everything's there, but there's a lot. So. Well, I guess thanks for your time today again, Chris. We have 3 o'clock with Atlanta Voice. So.
Yeah, I was just looking with Jeremiah Longbear, that one.
Yep, that one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was just looking at the ticket. All right, no problem.
Okay, no problem.
Then I'll see you then.
Yep, see you then.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you very much, Jackie.
No
Oh, and
problem. Thanks,
Terry,
Terry.
thanks again for checking in last night. I appreciate it.
Oh, sure. I thought you had me up so late. That was a long day.
It was, but thanks for your help on everything and with scheduling. It was really appreciated.
My pleasure.
All right, talk to you later.
Bye.
Later.